Woke up, went and grabbed some vittles. You know what I'm saying? I'll be taking these naps every day. Around the same time, like 3 o'clock, I just fall asleep. It's almost uncontrolled. I don't know if it's sleep apnea or what. I need to lose weight. My face should not be this big. But just wanted to come on and see what you guys are talking about. See if you guys want to vibe for a minute before I head into the crib. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot of things that I told you guys to do. Excuse me, I advised people to do. I advised people to go ahead and get themselves a generator. I can't tell y'all what to do, young grown folks. Ain't nobody got no authority over y'all. But go ahead and get yourself uh, generator. I'm gonna start looking for ways to store food. Now they want to go into our bank accounts, and I remember talking about this when they was giving away them stimulus checks. This whole thing was a setup. This whole thing. But them stimulus check, it was a whole sucker move. They got all of our information. It's not like they didn't have it before. But for those of you who did not have bank accounts, you know, they, it was like they promised you a couple $1,000s. It wasn't even that much money. They promised us a couple $1,000s. That's what they handed out. Of course, they put us in a position where, we were going to need that money. And even if you didn't necessarily need it, you were going to take it because it's, you thought it was free money. But there is nothing free on this planet. There's nothing free. There's always a cost in some kind of shape, form, or fashion, especially here in America. Um, and the corporation of America owns you, so they're not going to give you no money and then not expect something back. So now Joe Biden and the Internal Revenue Service are going to monitor your money, any account that's over $600. Well, ain't that a coinky dink? $600? Wonder where they got that number from. Because they know that the stimulus check was at least $600. You know what I'm saying? And now that the world is so-called opened up, that wasn't a wise thing to do. But they rushed into that, you know. They rushed right into opening the world back up, and then what happened? More people died. Simply because everybody was like, open up the world, open up the world. So you got more people that are not here because the world opened up. But yeah, so now they're able to look into your account, and they're just not going to look into it. Listen, if they can put, and I said this in one of my YouTubes, if they can put money into your account, they can take money out. There are people who have already felt this when it comes to things like child support or, marital, conflicts. They just go right in and take your savings and stuff like that, or, go and dip into your pension. And I don't know what they can't dip into because I'm like, okay, well, shoot, the banks are in on this whole thing too. You know, If you do that whole social security number thing and then look at the number that belongs to your social security number, you find out that your social security number is attached to a bank. And you're not supposed to be able to access that money, but you can actually, once you find out the routing number, you can actually pay your bills with that. You're not supposed to do that, but yeah. So you are owned, but now they can go into your private accounts, and trust me, if they want to delete your account, they will. We've already known they could do stuff like this, but we thought that there were laws that stopped them from doing this. We thought FDIC would protect us from stuff like this, once you have a certain amount. But we're finding out that this is nowhere near true. And they're telling us what they're going to do. They're going to cripple the economy. They're going to do that. They're going to make it so it is solely based uh, on them, whether you do whatever, whether you eat, whether you sleep, where you sleep, all that. Now, if you don't believe any of that, look at what just happened with this moratorium, where these landlords they were not able to get paid. And this is the whole sucker move they did to these landlords. They were like, these people are out of work, so you can't tell them to leave. So they had a federal mandate that says you can't leave, or that you don't have to leave. So they were trying to kick people out. People were like, I'm not going nowhere. And the people who were getting strong armed, next thing you know, is all over social media, and that landlord don't want that, right? So all these landlords were, stuck making all these payments, and then they was told the banks, it was like, no, you don't have to make these payments. Well, when they lifted that moratorium, they didn't lift it all the way, and they didn't pay these landlords all the money that they should have got, but all these people were collecting their unemployment and they were collecting all kind of money, right? Now check the move. So you're the tenant and you're collecting these stimulus checks. You collected unemployment. You collected, SSI or whatever, so on and so forth, right? Well, you wouldn't be SSI, but either or was what I'm saying. So you're completely depending on who? The government. You got to understand there are more poor people in America than there are wealthy people. So the whole thing is 100% a setup. 100%. You have you have people who are 100% now more than ever 100% leaning upon the government to pretty much bail them out, get them out of trouble financially. And now these people who weren't paying these landlords, now these moratoriums are being lifted, but the landlords still aren't getting that money. Only 11% of that money that the landlords were supposed to get actually received it. So these landlords aren't even getting all their money. So what's that do? That sticks them with the payment for all of these places. So now who are they dependent on now? Listen, some of these landlords actually they didn't have any. They ran out of money because these banks were still asking for money. And when they ran out of money, they ended up homeless. And the tenant was still living in one of their apartments, one of their places. I mean, come on. So what's that do? That puts the landlord completely in debt to the government. So now their landlord's looking at the government. Help, give me this money you promised me. Give me this money you promised me. So now their subsidies are coming from the government. So the government is handling all of these subsidies. We'll give you all these promises, these financial promises, and these breadcrumbs that they handed out. And they got all the information because they put you at dire straits. So any information that they needed to get from you in order for you just to go out and buy bread, they got from you. You told them. You went out and told them. The rent relief covers tenants and property covers. It's just lagging because the system is overwhelmed. Is it? Is the system overwhelmed? Okay, that's fine. But nonetheless, while the system is overwhelmed, the banks are still asking you for their money, are they not? You don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is, as a landlord, and let's say you have 4 properties, all of them came under, the moratorium, whatever that was. Nonetheless, you still had to pay for those properties in one fashion or another. You had to pay still property taxes on them. You had to pay still water. You had to pay electric on them. You had to pay something. And what it did was, what I'm saying is, it crippled you financially enough to where you had to lean on the government in order to get your money. So any information that they need, bank information that they need, they got from you. That's what I'm saying. You are completely leaning upon the government. It's just like Hunger Games. It's just the same scenario as Hunger Games. You're completely leaning upon the government in order to bail you out. And listen, I just think it's going to get worse. And people are like, well, some people are already saying, listen, they're going to start controlling food again. And I told you guys that before. I was like, I can see that coming. I can see them going ahead and controlling the food trucks, controlling the supply lines, only having so much food go to certain areas, rationing out food. I can see that happening 100%, and you would be completely relying on the government. As far as your bank account, they can take everything in there out. Everything. They can wipe your whole bank account out just like that. Or they can freeze your account, and or they can tell these grocery stores have, yeah, yeah, yeah. And or they can tell the banks who are in cahoots with them, because companies are going to do whatever they can to survive, especially banks. They can tell these banks, they can say, start denying people who come into these banks, start telling them, just they can do the same thing they're doing with the police. The police are arresting people for things that are not arrestable, for non-arrestable crimes. Jaywalking is not an arrestable crime. They are locking people up for jaywalking. They're locking them up. It's not an arrestable crime. So they can do the same thing with the banks and say, somebody comes in, asks for the money. This has already happened on a couple occasions. And say, hey, I want to go ahead and take the stimulus check I just got, which was $1,000, which is $1,400. I want to take my $1,400 out. And what did the one lady do? The one lady went, the teller, she went, got the money. She had it in her hand, and she told the lady, she says, I don't feel right giving you this money. And the lady said, what? She's like, it's my money. I just got it from the government. Can you give me my money? She says, I know it's your money, but I don't feel right giving it to you. And she didn't give her that money. That whole thing was on the news. That teller did not give her that money. It was another situation where a woman won some money. Black woman, both of these are black women. She won a bunch of money legally. I think she like hit the pick five or something like that. And when she won that money, she put it in the bank, like people do. And she went in to collect or to get some of her money out. She waited till the check cleared. She's like, okay, it's time to go do whatever. The teller asked her, where did she get the money from? And she was just like, like, why are you asking me that question? So the teller was suspicious and put the account under investigation in perpetuity. That woman could not withdraw any money from any bank anywhere that money was connected to. She could not withdraw that money. And they said it's under investigation. For what? Why is it under investigation? Because she didn't answer your question? It's none of your business. It's not your business where she got the money from. You're not an investigator. You're a bank teller. It's not your business what I do for a living. You know, if there's, you can trace, and the thing about it is, here's really crazy. If there was somebody who was an entrepreneur, walked in there, put a bunch of money in there, and then walked out. And then the next couple days came in, or walked in there with a check, put the check in there, walked away, came back in there next week, or wait till the next day when the check clears, come back in there, and say, okay, I want to withdraw this money out. And then you go, like, why are you withdrawing this money? It's like, like it's still none of your business, but it's like it's my money. But here's the thing: you can look up the check where that came from and where the lady got her money from. It came from the state. So the state paid out this lottery or whatever it was, and they could easily trace the number to where this money came from, but they didn't even bother to do that. They were just completely being racist and were just like, nope, I'm not giving this black woman this much money. And that's exactly what they did. She was on the news, and I hope she sued that bank, because they put out some fictitious letter talking about, it's under investigation, yada yada yada, But I hope she got her money and cleared up out of there. But it just lets you know how much power that the banks have over your money, and you know, so they're gonna do whatever the Biden administration says, and now it's like, okay, where do I put my money? Can I put it into a safe and put it in the house? Can I put it into like where can I keep my dough at? It's like it's not safe anywhere. Some people have, who can afford it. They have safes in their houses and they're built into their wall. And they're just like, yeah, my safe is cool there. Until somebody knows about it and, are smart enough and have the equipment to come and bust it right down. And then there goes your life savings. Some people have put their money into a safety deposit box. There's no insurance on a safety deposit box. One lady had $87,000 in there. It was gone the next day. Just like that. This is why you can't send money like paper money, and don't send a check like through the mail. Don't write a personal check and send that through the mail. I'm trying to tell you, it'll be gone. Somebody will look at it, bust that thing right open, and then do something to it. You can't send dollars. You can't do that no more. You can't do none of that. Somebody will get a hold of it through the mailing system. I don't know who. I don't know how. But I know that it's been happening. And I went and asked about a safety deposit box. And just the look on the guy's face when I asked him, I walked into the mailroom and I was just like, or the post office, and just the look on his face made me know, do not put my money into a safety deposit box. I was like, no, no way. And, or a P.O. box. And you have people who put their money in safe deposit box in banks. And that money has come up missing as well. People walk right in there, boom, open it up, see what's in there. If it's cash, it is liquid, it can't be traced. It cannot be traced. And you people who got, large amounts of cash and you put it into the bank, well, you just gave some teller or some manager a bunch of money that can't be traced. And those are just facts. You cannot trace this money, you know. So I even had an experience where uh, these Nigerians were trying to rip me off because I was selling stuff online. This was 10, 15 years ago. So what they did was uh, they sent me a fake check and in the tune of like $4,500, and they were wanting me to go ahead and release they were Game Boys. They were like, go ahead and release the Game Boys. You got your check. I was just like, no, I'm not releasing the Game Boys until I take this to the bank and it clears. So they were like, well, we're going to call the police on you. We're going to do all these threats that they were making to try to make me scared. But I was just like, nah, I don't care what you're saying. I'm going to wait till this check clears. And they were trying their best to get me to release these Game Boys. So I was like, nah. So I took it, and I didn't even take it to my bank. I took it to a, uh, I took it to a bank that I had no affiliation with, and it was in a white area. I didn't even know it was a white like that area, but they were racist as hell. As soon as they saw me, they were scared as hell. Anyways, I took it into a major bank. I opened an account. Those women were. I'm surprised police didn't come in there and just take me to jail. They were so afraid. They were like, "We're not used to seeing someone who looks like you. That is racist as hell." This is what they told me. I was like, God damn, like you guys can't be serious, but they were. So, anyways, I opened the account, right, and they said, "Do you want any money out of the account, out of off of this check? It's $4,000 plus. They said you can have up to $100. I said, give me $100. So I took $100. I waited for a week until it cleared. And see if it did clear. I called in to see if it cleared. They said the bank. They said that check did not clear because it was missing one number that was wrong on a routing number. So they faked the routing number to this major bank, and I knew something was up. So I never released the Game Boys to them. And then I told him, I said, when I went back in there, I said, I'm going to go ahead and close the account. Well, they already did. And they said, you owe us $100. You tried to fraud us, some white dude. You tried to defraud us, trying to get me in federal trouble. I said, how? How did I try to defraud you? I said, explain it to me what I did to defraud you. I took $100 off of it. I gave you your $100 back. How's that fraud? And he ain't saying anything. I was like, get your racist ass out of here trying to get me in some type of, federal trouble, making up some garbage, trying to scare me, your little punk ass. I gave you your $100 back. You close the account. Case closed. What's the dispute? $100? You have your money. So I got out of there and I never banked with them again because they're racist and they made it very clear. I told them exactly what was going on. And then those same Nigerian people sent me another check for the same amount. As soon as I got it, I ripped it up. And the thing about it is, they sent it through FedEx, not FedEx. They sent it through U.S. mail, but they rushed it to me like the next day. They sent it overnight, so it was just a package on my doorstep. I took that second check and I ripped it up so quick and I ditched it. Because if I would have took that and then tried the same thing, then they'd been like, "Yeah, you're onto something. You some type of fraudster." I was like, "Nah, not me. Y'all not getting me in trouble like that. How the boys watching me like that? No, no. I'm too broke for all that. Y'all trying to put me in federal prison? Nah, you out your damn mind." So I'm just saying, you know, we are. I mean, the economy was crippled. The economy is going to be even more crippled, and we're so dependent on the government to help bail us out. You know, the knee jerk reaction to that is there are more entrepreneurs uh, out there getting money now more than anything. But the problem is, everybody accepted that stimulus check. Everybody accepted those government subsidies. So all these people, who are out here getting money and accepted those checks, well, the government is just gonna just look right into your account. And they're gonna monitor your account, and if they want to cripple you, they can just cripple you. They can just do it. They can do it and give you no explanation. What are you gonna do? You're gonna be calling some number. You're gonna be calling some number, and they're just gonna spin you around. Wait a minute, let me send you to this department. Wait a minute, send you to this department. You're gonna be on hold for 5 hours. This department, this department. Nonetheless, your rent's due. Your kids are hungry. I'm just saying, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get real bad. I will get very. Yeah, it's gonna get very, very dangerous, and it's gonna get very dangerous, people. So, like I said, in preparation of this, oh, another thing. So, I went to Lowe's the other day, and I was asking about seeds because I noticed that there ain't been no places for seeds in there in a long time. and they said, yeah, it's the season. They took them out because the season changed. And they'll be back during the, you know, I don't know what season they was talking about, whether they'll be back. And I was just like, no. You didn't take these out of here for some season because I used to come in here and see them in there all the time. They had a whole section for them. That whole section is gone. And when I say gone, I mean there's not one remnant of it. Not to mention, there are plants that grow in your house during the winter. There are plants that grow in your house, period. Why did you get rid of them? When I tell you that they don't have any seeds, they don't have no seeds. He didn't say, oh, we still have some seeds. He said they're not going to be back until another season, some months. I was just like, okay, I ain't going to argue with him. He's just doing what he's told. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot find any seeds. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go, you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.